Let's go ahead and spend a few moments, 2 minutes, establishing breathing. To establish your breathing, we're going to breathe in to a count of 4 and out to a count of 8. So begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In, out. Continue this pattern for a bit longer. Throughout our practice today, keep coming back to this breathing. Breathing out longer will calm you down by engaging your parasympathetic nervous system response. You're going to be de-stressing your body and simultaneously telling your nervous system it's okay through your breath. If you can, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Drop your stomach, relax your stomach. Let it out. Think of the laughing Buddha whose belly is relaxed like a baby. Baby has no worries. You have no worries. Okay, now we're going to stand up and do some simple circle walking to twist our spine while walking. You can do this in a small circle. I'm going to go ahead and do it around this bench right here. So, a couple of points. I'm going to rotate hips first, then shoulders, and I'm going to push my arms out and walk in a circle. And this is simple enough right here. I'll talk you through a few of this. We're going to be doing this for 2 minutes, and we'll be switching directions every so often. Start that timer, that's fine. Okay, so a couple of things. Again, twist your hips, then your shoulders. Push your hands out. You're pushing with your pisiform bones. The hands aren't too important. You can just do this if that's fine. But try to relax your shoulders as you do this. So twist, twist, twist. Okay, now stop. And let's change direction. Same thing. If you don't want to push your hands out, you can't. Or you don't need to. Walk in a circle. Walking is great for your body. It does a lot of micro vibrations as you walk. We're doing the same thing in a twist. It's not going to do much, but this little action is the pebble. It's going to change the direction of the stream. And over weeks and months, you'll notice your spine has more flexibility, and that has a lot of extra benefits. This is a gentle thing. We're going to do this a lot. You don't need to push it. Just keep a little bit of a twist as you walk. You go ahead and just turn the other direction. I'll go into a little more detail here now. So I'm pushing with my pisiform bone on the inside hand. And while I'm talking about this, let's go ahead and just change direction. Pisiform bone. My outside hand is also pressing with my pisiform bone and pointing towards my inner elbow. Now, if you actually express this out, what you're actually doing is engaging the ligaments along the back of the arm. So this is a great stretch, a great dynamic stretch, not a deep stretch. And add the breathing, keep the breathing in 4, out 8, and then let's switch to the other direction one last time. I think we're getting close to time here. Again, play with the arms. Maybe some crab hands. We're just walking with a bit of a twist to relax and release our spine. Okay, I think I went over a little bit, but that's fine. Okay, let's go ahead and just do a little bit of just shaking, just to sort of shake that out just slightly. And then for just a few seconds, stand comfortably, feet approximately parallel, knees bent. I want you to sort of just close your eyes, take your sense of interoception, your sense of inner awareness, and just feel the spine. Look at your spine internally, and just can you sense any difference in your spine from typical? I've got a little bit of tingling. You may or may not have a feeling. You might just be sore from doing it, and that's okay. All right, the next pose is ragdoll. We're going to do this one. This is going to be one of our long poses for 5 minutes, I believe. Yep. I'll set a timer. This is going to be a good stretch down the back of your legs and also a good stretch for the back of your spine. I'm going to start the timer. Begin by folding over. If you get tightness in your lower back, keep your knees bent. This might be good enough, but you need to probably, if you're going to be like this, you're probably going to need to bend your knees a little bit more. Now, if you can, you might just take and interlace your arms and let them hang and relax into this as best you can and breathe. Now we're going to hold this for 5 minutes. Let's get into some principles for a bit. Wet noodle. As much as possible, relax the body all over, but especially the muscles that are stretching. My leg. I'm trying to let them just relax. Shoulders. Just let them drizzle. Spine. Maybe you get some articulation. So wet noodle. Contracting your muscles, flexing your muscles makes them stronger. Stretching, relaxing is the opposite. It's the yin to the yang, literally, in this case. So you want to relax the muscles so they can really stretch. It is possible to get some flexibility with flexion, but not really. If you want to get significant improvements, relax. Give in to the stretch. Wet noodle. The next thing is, and you're experiencing this now, passive, I hope, resistance, tension, under time. Let gravity do all the work. Passive resistance under time. It's not that using strength here is wrong, it's a different technique. That might be more of a dynamic stretching technique. In a passive or deep flexibility stretching technique, you relax. Wet noodle, passive tension over time. How long? 2 minutes to 5 minutes. There's some science and math behind that. For now, just relax. Go back to your breathing. If you're finding trouble keeping much of a forward fold, another good trick is to put your bum up against a wall. You can relax your hands as well, but be careful. Relax your hands facing up because you might be tempted to use your hands if they're down. You don't want to. Less is more here. The third principle, remember, wet noodle, has the pressure under time. We already learned. Breathe to relax. You're probably feeling a little bit of stress right now. That's great. It's distress. If at any point you feel pointed pain, stabby pain, you probably need to back off. For this, you might have something somewhere, and you need to know your body and take care of your body. But you should feel some discomfort. Right now, my calves, and I do this one often, my calves are saying hello to me. So you might feel it in your calves. You might feel this in the back of your thighs. I feel it often in my neck. I'll get some good pops and articulations in the cervix spine and sometimes all the way into the thoracic spine. Now I'm going to sort of suck in my belly a little bit, and then I'm going to relax again and go a little bit deeper. We've got about a minute left. I'm going to start talking about how to get this out of this pose and in general how to get out any of these poses. The muscles you're stretching are going to be destabilized and they're going to be weak. You won't be able to use them. So I'm going to put my hands on my feet and I'm literally going to put one hand up and push and then the other hand very slowly to allow my muscles to very slowly come back. Uh, I have hurt myself when I allowed my ego to stay in a pose even though I could feel something was wrong, and then I came out too quickly and I hurt myself. And this is a real potential problem. Okay, so go ahead and relax your hands. Put your hands on your feet and sort of maybe bend your knees a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to crawl my hands up, maybe get to my knees. I'm going to push, push, push. Up to the thighs, push, push, push. Tuck the tailbone and come up really slow. And you might want to do just a bit of a back bend just to sort of relax that a little bit. That was a 5-minute ragdoll. That's a really good pose. And hopefully you've got some good feeling down the backs of your legs and so on. Okay, now the next pose we're going to do is called cliffhanger. You're going to want to crawl up to a wall on your belly, and then you're going to put your hands up on a wall. So I'm going to use this wall right here. I tried it already, so it's going to be fine for me. That might be a bit difficult for some people, but just try this pose. And what we're trying to do is get nice stretching in our shoulders. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a 3-minute cliffhanger. And I'll put this over here for the moment. Okay, on the ground. Start the timer. Roll up. Notice I'm not gripping with my hands. I don't want to engage my hands. They're sort of wedged in here, and I've got a really good hold without any effort. So where's my wet noodle? Certainly my chest, my thoracic spine, shoulders, upper arms are actually not engaged. Now, if you are able to, let your head just drop here. I cannot do that because I've got a worn down C4. So it hurts if I do that. And you need to make adjustments for yourself. Here's the thing. If you don't move, you lose it. Even if you don't think you're doing much, you're moving. And that's the important thing. Intentional movement, a little bit at a time, adds up. Some days the best you can do is pick up a piece of trash, and that's a great day. Some days you actually clean up the kitchen like I did today. Where are you likely to feel this pose? You might feel this pose in your shoulders, I suspect. Armpits, certainly. Side of the arms. between the shoulder blades, certainly, possibly in your chest. You don't want to feel anything in your lower back. So I feel nothing in my lower back right now. Now, I can, at the end of this pose, stretch for a little bit on my neck. Just have to be careful how long I do it for. And that's it. Okay, so to get out of this pose, push with your stomach, give your arms a little bit of room to slide down, and then bring your arms down. Now, I tend to do this for a few seconds to relax. Okay, next pose is called pretzel arms, I believe. So let's go ahead. Oh, I'm not going to be able to push up like that. See, my arms are really tired. I can't push up like this right now. I have no strength. So I'm going to use my skeletal structure. So I've got my arm perpendicular, and now I can push a little bit with it using my whole shoulder and body. Now I can use leverage to get up. Okay, for pretzel arms, we're going to do this on our stomach and this on our stomach. 3 minutes aside. Uh, I think I could probably do it. I think I'm going to use a little bit of padding here. That's, in fact, what this padding is here for. Okay, to take a quick drink. I think it's fine to take small drinks of water while you're practicing this, but you've got to know your body. You might be a person who cannot have anything in your stomach while you're doing this kind of stuff. Okay, I'm going to lay prone. I'm going to put one arm in front of the other, so I'm going to put my right arm in front of my left, and then I'm going to loop them out, and then I'm going to put my chin right here, and I'll start a timer. Now, this might be a lot for you. If you need to, put a pillow under your chest, but you want to get a stretch across your shoulders. So whatever you do, whatever you can do to allow yourself to, I'm going to start the timer. Put your arms crossed like this, and then your chin down, like so. Remember, wet noodle. Where's the wet noodle here? Certainly my arms, shoulders. The danger of this pose without a timer is I have actually fallen asleep doing this, and your arms get really weak after doing this for 5-10 minutes. So I just relaxed and let go a little bit there even more. The muscles in your body, are you holding tension anywhere that you might be able to somehow release just a touch? Passive tension under time. Most of my body is passive. And passive resistance. And of course, breathing to relax. You might feel this between your shoulder blades. You might feel this in your arms. Personal experience was for the first several times I did this pose, it was hard to breathe with my chin on my arms like this. That gets better. Now remember, you've been on your arms for 3 minutes. your arms are going to be pretty weak. So to get out of this pose, much like the last pose, we're coming up on 3 minutes here. When it's time, I'm going to push with my stomach, and then I'm going to sort of pull my arms in a little bit with more of my shoulders. So the longer you do this pose, the more your arms have nothing to give. Okay, I push it with my stomach. That lifts my arms, and then I bring one over. Stop the timer. I lean on it a little bit and bring it over. Whew. Okay, we're going to do the same pose, but opposite arm. So this is an asymmetrical pose. That means there's a right side and a left side. So same thing. I just had my right arm in front, so now I'm going to have my left arm in front. So left arm in front, or opposite arm in front. I'm going to start the timer. Reach out, sneak them out, sneak them out. Set your chin down and relax. One prop that I often use with this pose, I have a mouth guard, just like an athletic mouth guard plastic thing. When I'm doing this pose, I find sometimes my teeth want to grind, so I'll just clean that thing, throw it in for this pose because it helps just keep the teeth separated. Okay, come out, push with your stomach, bring your arms in a little bit, and then I'm going to take these off for a second. Okay, now we've just done pretzel. What I want to do is we're going to be going into a standing for the next pose. So we're going to stand up and then we're going to do the wide dog. Before we do that, I want to work on our shoulders and sort of incorporate stuff. Let's start in a position like this and take your right hand and rotate it into your armpit, continue it around, rotate it up, into your armpit and up. Now I'm going to do this left arm. So the left hand is facing up, it comes inward to the armpit, dips around, comes around, and then rotates up. So now we're just going to do that opposite of each other. And just sort of move your shoulders with it. We're just playing. This is not an official pose. We're just sort of incorporating all that shoulder work we just did. And you can play with this. Now I'm going to go ahead and stand up and continue. And add a little bit to this. This is optional, but it's certainly a good option. So you've got one hand going like this, one hand going like this. So I'm going to, as I push my hand out, I'll push the hip away, and then I'll do the opposite. And I'll coordinate that. Slow, real slow on this. And you can certainly mess with it and just go around. But we're just trying to rotate and twist a little bit and incorporate all that shoulder work we just did into our back. Okay, now we're going to do a pose called wide dog. I keep losing my head, but that's fine. For wide dog, the place you're trying to target is right here. Now, for some people, they can do that on the ground, and that's great. So I'll give you an example of what it looks like on the ground, but I cannot target that area as such. So you go from a regular down dog, you're going to go narrow, and then you're going to go wide. Okay, I'm going to show that again. Okay, so down dog, short dog, wide dog, and then what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your shoulders down and feel here. I feel this all on the back of my legs because the way I'm currently flexible or not. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a trusty bench. Same pose, feet wide. I'm going to pull back a little bit. And right there, I've got my shoulders. Okay, so I'm going to do this for 3 minutes. And here we go. We don't want any pressure in the lower back. It's okay to bend your knees. Right now, my shoulders are nicely targeted, so I'm going to keep my knees mostly engaged because I'm doubling the stretch to the back of my legs as a bonus. But I will give up on the back of the legs by bending my knees if I lose the shoulders. Remember wet noodle. On this pose, I want to push my shoulders in, and I can do it. But if I'm using my muscles, how can they relax if I'm using them? So less is more. I'm pushing back a little bit because I was noticing a little bit of pressure on my wrists there. Something about these poses. You're doing something in one part of your body that might be distressful. It might mask other parts of your body. So scan your body. If you find any kind of asymmetrical thing or any kind of thing that might turn into a bruise, fix it. Take care of yourself. Don't ego through it. Last time I did it, tore my shoulder. Actually, I tore the muscle under my shoulder blade, and it hurt for about 6 months because I was an idiot. So don't be like me. Scan your body. If something is pointy and stabby, pull out of it. If it's specific on a joint, pull out of it. But if it's sort of a big area and it's more pressure, you're probably doing the right thing. Now, throughout all this, notice my arms are pretty much straight out and locked. Why? If you've ever done indoor rock climbing, you'll know, or rock climbing, if your arms are fully extended like this, you can use your skeletal structure and your ligaments, and you don't have to use your muscles. So I'm locking out my arms so that they're not really working as much. And since they're not working as much, they're relaxed. And so the only part of my body that's not relaxed right now is pretty much kind of the back of my legs and definitely my shoulder blades. Okay, 3 minutes. Now to come out of this, I'm going to bend my knees, tuck my butt under, and then I'm going to slowly bring my feet in because I really don't want to use my shoulders. And maybe it's because I'm old. I'm in my 50s, but I'll tell you, this really does a great job of destabilizing my muscles, and I really don't want to pull a muscle. Okay, so we've just done wide dog. So now we're going to go into a noodle pose. Now for noodle pose, I'm going to use this bench again, but I'm going to need a pillow on top of it. Noodle is going to get the other side. And for noodle, we're going to do the same amount of time. Here's a perfect refined pillow, I hope. And I'm going to get my shoulder blades, not here, shoulder blades here. This is for thoracic, or sorry, yes, thoracic, not the lower back. So, we get onto this one. Notice, look how low I'm going here. My lower back's down here. Let's see, am I here? Nope, a little bit low. Okay, I'm on my shoulder blades right there. That's nice. Okay, 3 minute timer, and I'm gonna reach straight back. Now again, I cannot leave my head too far back, it hurts. My neck from whiplash from the late 80s. So the principle of this is you want your arms going back like this. So since I need some neck support here, I'm going to have my elbows pointing up. Oh yeah, that's good right there. And this also gives my neck some support. Again, this is something for me because I've got a messed up neck. And I'm definitely getting a nice stretch in my chest here. Another nice way to do this pose is using a block or two in the exact same way. Okay, I'm going to extend my arms again, see if I can do a little more. Okay, we've got about 30 seconds left. Now, to come out of this, I'm going to drop my feet, but I'm going to grab my head first. Again, this is hurting my neck a little bit, so I'm going to give some support to my neck for the last 20 seconds, but still I'm going to try to keep my elbows pointing. Yeah, I'm still getting a nice good stretch there. But this is protecting my neck while still giving me a lot of the advantages of the pose. Okay, that's time. Okay, I'm just going to sort of slide forward. Then I tend to drop a leg here. And then it's intense. That's a good pose. And they're all good poses. I love these poses. All right, now we're going to do a reset pose. So we're going to go back to standing. And we're just going to twist side to side. A little more spinal twisting. This is dynamic. This is not a flexibility pose. So let's start by doing this. Just turn very slowly. Now, while you're doing this, if we're doing this as Qigong, grip with your toes, knees bent, tailbone tucked. And if you want to do that, that's fine. But we're just sort of twisting gently. Do grip with your feet and press with the outside of your feet because you don't want to twist your knees on this. Okay, now what we're going to do is stop your shoulders and just keep moving your waist. Okay, now arms opposite shoulders, opposite waist. Slow. So again, we've gone from this to this to this. Okay, now before we go to the next set of poses, scan your body. So scan feet, shoulder width, maybe a little wider. Relax. Maybe push your fontanelle up a little bit. How are you feeling? My spine, my entire spine, has been engaged. It's not screaming at me. It's certainly maybe having some strong words. So I'm feeling pretty good. All right, we're gonna work on our knees and our hips a little bit. We're gonna do hero pose first. For hero pose, we're going to be doing this for, I believe, 3 minutes. Yeah, sounds good. Let me get this out of the way. Now, you may not be able to sit down very far, but the basic idea is legs together, feet are pointing or plantar flexed, dorsy, plantar, pointing, plantar, dorsy. So we're plantar flexing, and then sit down. Now, maybe this is as far as you sit, you get a big old pillow. That's great. And you know what? That's great. That's a lovely pose. However high. When I started this, I was way up here. But I'm going to do this for 3 minutes, and I'm going to slowly work my way down, down, down. So if you're here, that's great. Work your way down, 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 down. Once you're comfortably on your heels, separate them a little bit, and your butt goes down, down, down. Now, I can sometimes go on my back. I'm not even going to try. My butt's not touching. Until your butt is firmly touching the floor, don't go back. You got enough going on here. Where am I feeling this? Where might you feel this? Okay, there's a lot of tension on the knees. Good tension. Front of the thighs, definitely. I'm feeling a little bit in the gluteals, not much, but some. As I go further and further down, I get a lot of tension and pressure in here. Now, if you want to extend this a little bit, push your head up a little bit and straighten your back just a touch. And then let's just hold this for a bit. Relax that stomach. Laughing Buddha belly. Let it out. My biggest challenge throughout most of these poses is fundamental dissatisfaction, boredom, whatever. I just want to go to the next thing. But second principle, time under pressure, under resistance. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I typically do this pose for 5 minutes, but in this series I'm doing it for three. So that's it. Now, I don't know about you, but just sometimes this, just a little bit of coming up is enough to be like, oh, okay, I need to let that set. So take your time getting out of these poses. When I've done this for 5 minutes, I have to like really allow the pressure to come off my knees slowly. Now, it's discomforting, but I tell you, once I come out of it, I'm fine. But for the first 10, 15 seconds out of most of these poses, those. Okay, picking up. So we just did hero pose. Now we're going to do twister, twister asymmetrical, right and left. So I'm going to lay on my back. I'm going to cross one leg over the other and then twist to one side and then twist to another. So let's go ahead and set that up. I'll do it on this pad right here. Right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay on my back. Okay. I need a little more padding for my head there. Okay, there we go. I think that should be good. I've got room to both sides. That looks pretty good. I think I can work with that, maybe move that. And 3 minutes, take my right leg over my left, and then that might be all you have. Lean to the side. If you can twist your feet, even better. And now hold this for 3 minutes. You're likely to feel this, but you might not in your lower back, certainly. You might get some nice spinal articulations. Certainly the IT band on the, in my case, right leg, the leg on the top. Arch of the foot, the one on the bottom or the top. There's a good amount of stretch all the way through my stomach. The entire area is nicely twisted. Now I'm not pulling at all. I've just got my hand resting so that the weight of my arm is slightly adding to this. If I wanted to, I could do something like this, hand up. Again, I'm not using any kind of force. It's just the weight of my hand and my arm. But with that weight there, I can tell that I'm twisting a little bit more. Not much, a few millimeters maybe. Got about 45 seconds left. Let's do some breathing together and in on 2, 3, 4, out 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In 1, 2, 3, 4, out 8, 7, 3, 2, 1. Now, when this poses out, and we're about done with this, I'm going to let my arm off, and I'm going to really slowly come back on this one. You've just been stretching your lower back. So notice I'm going to release my feet. If you don't have your feet intertwined, that took me about a year to get to there. It does happen. It'll eventually happen, but that's not important. I can tell you right now that this lower back is just very well stretched. I'm going to come back, put your heels and your feet flat on the ground, and sit here for a second And notice the right side, the side that was on the top when I was twisting, feels thinner. There's less there. It's amazing. It feels like it's a 2 or 3 millimeters thinner. So we're going to do the same thing, other side, 3 minutes. So left leg over right. Start the timer. Lean. Now I don't necessarily get my foot around. Well, I guess I can get my foot around. Sometimes you don't get your foot around, and again, that's not important. That comes with time. But keep trying, and eventually you might find that it eventually does get there. Okay, I'm noticeably looser on this side. Oh, there's a nice pop in my thoracic spine. Passive tension time. Wet noodle. I'm not pushing. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and rotate my hand so that I don't have the opportunity to push. I think I had just a little bit of tension on my hand there, and I don't need that. It's deep enough. But I am going to slide my hand out a little bit and use leverage. I wonder what just fell over. Well, we'll see. Now, generally, the recommendation is to not do these poses outside. I'm in my backyard, barring the wind blowing over a chair. It's pretty isolated back here. And I love being outside under my trees. It'll be nice in a few months when there's leaves above me. Now, most of you are not going to be able to turn this far, and I probably shouldn't be showing you turning this far, but really, if your knees are over a little bit and you throw a pillow there, you could do this against the wall just so that you get the beginning of a nice stretch in your lower back. That's all you need. And slowly over time, things will stretch. This is a nice focused stretch in the lower back here. And the nice thing about that is it's not terribly complex in terms of what it's interacting with. So you'll probably get pretty good gains pretty quickly, assuming you don't have lower back problems, actual disc problems and such. But do be careful. This is a very deep pose after 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And if you come back quickly, you'll pull a muscle or tear it. It won't be pleasant. Okay, we're about out of this. So remember, so the first thing to do is just let go. I'm going to untwist my feet and I very slowly come back. I'm pushing with my arm. I'm not using my legs or my back. I'm pushing with my arm because I don't want to use that muscle hardly at all. Now I can move my foot, get my feet on the ground, and now we're going to do a transition pose to get up. Okay, so first of all, or to get forward. So feet about like this, and just simply washer your knees back and forth. The windshield washers. Oh, very slowly. Now, this might be too much, and in fact, for me right now, it's a bit too much. I'm going to make my feet wider, and then I'm just going to do one at a time in. So turn that inward, turn this one inward, very slowly, very slowly. Okay, now I'm going to bring my feet back together and just move them back a little bit and forth. Okay, get out of this pose. Okay, now we're going to do blaster pose. We're going to hammer the hamstrings on one side, and we're going to get the hip flexors on the other, and then we're going to reverse. We'll do these for 3 minutes. Um, I'll do it right here, in fact. So to start, you're going to be in a tabletop position. And then you're going to take, say, for example, the left leg, and you're going to swing it out up to the foot, and then nudge it forward, step it forward, step it forward. You want it to be either perpendicular or maybe even a little forward. All right. In fact, I'll go ahead and adjust this at a bit of an angle so you can see that a little bit better. And now, 3-minute timer, and I'll get into the pose. Okay. Now, I'm going to keep my arms straight and locked because if I'm doing this, I'm using the skeletal structure, not the muscles. And so they're not wet noodle, but they're not really doing anything. I have done this pose many times with a nice big pillow here and just relaxed into it. That's great too. So I'm flexing my left thigh. I'm extending my right hip. You want to drop into this and just let yourself lower and lower and lower. Now, I didn't do this, and for this foot, the front foot, it's okay to be out 45 degrees, 10, 20 degrees. It opens it up a little bit more on the inner thigh, and that's completely fine. You might feel a whole lot of pressure on your knee. That's fine. It's discomforting. It's weird to have that kind of pressure on your knee, but your knee should be relatively protected. And so, if you need to, certainly add a pillow. I wouldn't do this on stone by any sense or by any means, but a pillow would be nice. You might find that putting a pillow under this leg might help as well. This is my rogue or tight side. I'm going to come down a little bit here. So you might feel this in my case, I've got the left leg forward, left hamstring, certainly. Left IT band, so the outside of a leg. You might feel it in the adductors, the inside parts, the groin. Of course, I guess the IT band's the abductors as well. So outside abductors, inside adductors. Certainly, you're going to feel it on the front of your right thigh, I would expect. Maybe not. I've been doing this pose like I think the last 3 days in a row, so I'm pretty loose right now. Something I'm noticing, this pad does not allow my knee to move very much. And if I'm on carpet, I can stretch back further. Now my shoulder's getting a little bit tired there, so I'm going to go back up and lock into position. We're about done. Okay, my experience on this is this leg is trash. So after doing this for 3, 4, 5 minutes, what I do is first of all, I try to come back a little bit and take my elbow and put it under my knee and give myself some support. And then I just let my leg sort of fall back. And I'm serious about this because you really cannot use this leg. If you've done this pose well, you're not going to want to use this leg. I don't even want to pull back here. So notice I'm going to get this leg back, get that knee down, and then bring this leg forward. And then, there we go. That's a good transition to get out of it. I'm going to go right into the next one. And I will do it on this side as well. So you'll see the outside as opposed to the inside. So same idea. Tabletop, I'll start a timer. Right leg. Swing your right. I can go back a little bit. Swing your right leg out. Your heel is by by your hand. Sort of snake it forward, step it forward. All right, I'm going to push my knee back a little bit here. I've got that pot in my way, so I'm going to have to adjust myself a little bit. And I'm in it. Okay. Turn that foot out a little bit more. So again, for this version of this pose, the foot is not aligned with the leg. You can probably see it on the camera. It's out up to 45 degrees, 10, 20, 30. It's fine. So, wet noodle, right here, under my right leg. Also, left front thigh, hip flexors. I normally use a pillow when I do this pose on this side, and I tend to slide it up. Since I didn't bring that pillow, I'm doing it this way. Now, sometimes I find I'm doing something here where I've got my hand on my forehead, and there's a version of this where you can put a block here, and that gives you the ability to sort of relax. So when I do this, I'm actually relaxing more into my hip flexor, and I'm sure you can't see much of a difference, but okay, that's an 8. It was about a 5, and I just turned it up to an 8 by doing that. Oh, yeah. You know, if someone were to look at you doing this pose, they'd be like, whatever. And I guarantee you it's not a whatever. I love these poses. Okay. Now, unfortunately, the way I've got my arm, it's getting a little bit tired, and I don't want that to be a force in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a little pressure here. Oops, that was a bit sloppy. There we go. So I just moved it out so it's effectively lower, and I'm allowing my whole from my left flexor all the way through my groin, hamstrings. Oh, I just stretched the knee back a little bit. Okay. I'm going to, I was just on the balls of the toes there. I'm going to plant our flex. I'm going to point my toes. Okay, we're about to come out of this. Remember, now for this one, ooh, I'm really out in it. Okay, I'm going to have to push up a little bit and get my hand or my elbow under my knee. Again, I don't have any pain per se, but I can tell that if I try to use these muscles, they're going to give right away. So I'm moving really slowly. In fact, I'm going to cheat. Got that? I'm going to use it. Okay, now I can bring this leg back. I actually lifted it up, set down. And honestly, what I'm really doing here is I'm just applying the principles of empty stepping from Tai Chi. So, or in rock climbing, you have 4 points of contact: 2 feet, 2 hands. Only move one at a time. So that's all I'm doing. So I'm moving 1 point at a time to try to minimize the stress to the muscles that have just been stretched quite a bit. All right. So I'm guessing right now your hips are wide open. We've blasted them open. And so what we're going to do to round this up is we're going to do a bound butterfly. I'm going to get my strap here. We're going to hold this one for quite some time, 5 minutes. This will be the last long pose, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, I'm going to use a pillow under my butt. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have it like this so that it's a wedge and it's pushing me forward. All right, little cheat there. So 5 minutes, I'll use this one. Set this down. For bound butterfly, I guess I will take these off. I'm going to have my feet together. Now, the reason I'm going to do a bound butterfly is because later in the pose, I might adjust my position from sitting to either I might go to my back supine or I might want to go onto my knees prone. I'm going to go prone because I want to really push my hips open. Okay, so take a foot, put it in, take a foot, put it in. Now, 3 fists, that's okay. I'm a little bit short here. I actually want it to be a little bit maybe wider. And interestingly, I don't normally wear jeans when I do this pose, so it's going to be a bit probably shallower than it might be. Actually, let me do this. Okay, here we go. So 5 minutes, and I'm just going to lean over. I like to do as in ragdoll, cross my arms. Remember, less is more. Wet noodle. I mean, yes, you could pull yourself in, but if you do that, it's hard to relax the muscles. The one thing I will do is I'll take my fontanelle and I'll push it a little bit up or away from my hips so that I go forward a little bit. Now I am going to cheat just a touch. I'm going to push just a little bit with my elbows to sort of give myself a little back support. I'm going to drizzle my shoulders down, push my fontanelle up, only because if I don't, eventually this is going to get into my lower back. So you'll learn these tricks, how to make slight adjustments to your body. Like, for example, if I really wanted to make this a lot more intense, just do this for a few minutes. That slight shift in weight is making me move forward a little bit. Or, now if you want, at this point, I'm pretty far forward. I can maybe do something like this to put a little bit of weight on my. There we go. Now I'm not doing anything, but my groin's opening up just a touch more. I actually can feel that in my left ball and socket joint in the hip. We've been doing this for 2.5 minutes. This, honestly, I think I might just stay here. I was thinking about switching and doing another version of this pose, but I'm liking what I'm feeling right here. So keep it simple. Move my arms forward a little bit, drop a little bit more. Wet noodle. Passive tension undertone. To relax. I used to do a version of this in Taekwondo in the 90s where my partner would stand with his or her feet on my knees. They would be facing the same direction and they would take their hands on my mid back and push my chest all the way to my feet and then just hold me. And it sounds awful, but I tell you what, it did get me pretty well stretched. But I was also in my 20s. I don't need that kind of stretch these days. This is about basic range of motion. Okay, we've got about a minute left. I want to try something. This is just out of curiosity. I'm putting my arms. Nope, that actually reduces the pressure. So that is something I'm going to try again. I had an idea that is not going to work out. Always be playing around with these things. Feel your body, make subtle adjustments, notice the movement. Okay, we're done with this one. So to get out of this one, I just sort of push up slowly. And sometimes I've really stretched my back and sometimes I haven't. So this one is feeling okay. But notice I'm not using my back yet. I'm pushing. Okay, so in this case, the bound might have helped you, might not have. It's perfectly fine to do this. Uh, but sometimes I flip onto my stomach because it gives a nice addition to the stretch. Okay, we've finished all the deep flexibility poses. We're going to conclude with a little more dynamic motion, slow motion. We're going to stand up into Wuchi. So let's go ahead and just slowly get off the ground. If you need to, I might suggest take your Hoku point and just sort of rub your back a little bit. Then maybe just push your hips out a little bit. There we go. Now I've got my knuckles going in there. Okay, cool. So I'm going to stand up. For Wuchi, we're going to spend a few minutes building up Wuchi. And then we're going to do a couple of dynamic stretches and close it out. So I'll go ahead and set a timer. Make sure we don't go for too long. Okay. Wuchi, first thing you do is you get the twig off your sock. Feet parallel. Knees bent. So feet parallel, knees bent. Tailbone tucked. Okay. We'll start with that. Now, for the moment, take the center of your palms and point them in towards your pelvis. We'll save the pelvis for now. So you could almost say like I'm pointing to the top of the hip bone, the iliopsoas, or whatever that's called. So I'm making a triangle. The palms on my hand are pointing into my inner, around where the prostate would be, or where, basically where the reproductive organs are. Okay, so now let's work on this a little bit. Grip with the feet, tuck the knees, tuck the tailbone. Now, push your fontanelle up. So you're going to stretch. Oh yeah, push your fontanelle up. Okay, I've got tension in my shoulders. Relax your shoulders. So let's do that again. Grip with the toes, knees, bend, tuck tailbone, push the fontanelle up, relax the shoulders. Now, into the middle. Medially rotate your shoulders. Loosen your collarbone and push your collarbone into your pelvis. Now let's work on that a bit. Okay, so relax, grip with your feet, knees bent, tuck your tailbone, push the fontanelle up, medially rotate your arms, push your pelvis. Push your spinal column into your pelvis by imagining you're using your sternum, which is connected, to push that down. Okay, let's do that one more time. So grip the feet, knees bent, tailbone tucked, fontanelle up, medial rotation, push down. And actually, I like to push down. These are bear palms. Okay, so now we're going to gather some clouds and some water. So, feet parallel, raise up your hands, look up, reach back a little bit, grab some clouds, and bring them down through your body. So, knees are bent. As I raise up, my knees straighten up. I don't lock them. If you want to add just a slight back bend here, that's good. If not, that's fine as well. Grab some clouds and bring them down through your body. One more time. Now, as you raise up, breathe in, straighten your legs, grab some clouds, and then breathe out. Bring it down to your middle section, Okay, now, for the next thing, we're going to bathe in the spring. I like to start this off as a swan dive. I'm going to move a little bit away from this here. And so what I'll do is I'll sort of bring my arms up, swan dive down like I'm starting a vinyasa, some kind of flow. And then grab some water, press with your feet, press with your legs, your calves, tuck your tailbone, press, pull the water from Mother Earth up through your center, splash it out, and dive in again. And I'm making a wave or trying to make a wave, so I'm going to do this from the side so you can sort of see what I'm attempting to do. So, up, I'm sorry, out, bend over. Now I'm pushing my tailbone down. And if this is as far down as you get, this is as far down as you get. If you can get further, that's fine. and then I reach into the water. Now here's where it gets interesting. I'm pushing with my feet. I'm trying to actually push my tailbone under as I push my feet up, and then I bring all that heavy water up with me and spread it over everything. Doesn't look like much, but when you actually engage and you push through your entire body all the way up, you're really moving your entire body, your entire skeletal and muscle structure. It's a really good, simple exercise. Well, okay, that was about an hour, maybe a little bit longer. That's a routine. Hope you enjoy it. I'm going to be teaching this at some point coming up soon, but for right now, I'm just still practicing. Thanks a lot.